Kia ora, this is Kenzie From Welly, and we're going to have a corridor with Milky. I suppose, unconsciously for me, the ability to try and communicate openly. Like, I didn't know at the time, but there was a vehicle waiting for me that would enable me to be able to express myself in a way that was authentic. So that's what music was for me. Greenstone Door is my first album. Debut album, first came out the rank. I wrote and recorded this album almost 7 years ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to time travel back to a period where we smashed out a full album within 10 days with my great friend and family, Troy Samuela. So he produced the whole thing. Basically, we're in Brisbane. We hadn't kind of scheduled anything, like we didn't decide to make an album. We didn't want the pressure of like having those creative blocks. So I was just like, bro, come hang out, we'll have a jam, we'll see what the energy's like. And then 10 days passed and it was like, boom, this thing was born and it made itself. In terms of themes and what it's about, it is such a huge scope with tracks like Queendom, which invoke empowerment, the divine feminine, even just the hard-hitting drums kind of pick you up off the ground. Whether it is Word to Your Mother, it just feels like the pre-celebration before the celebrating. Like if you're going to go out with the homies and you need that energy on the pre's to pick you up, that's what you want to play, Word to Your Mother. Whether it's Time for Change, which is addressing, some of the stigmas or obstacles or boundaries within the Pasifika and Indigenous community, or whether it's The Calling, which speaks of a time of arrival and migration of my people across Te Moana Nui Akiwa to Aotearoa. It's a huge scope, so you have to jump in with me and take the trip. It's the perfect time for Greenstone Door to be birthed into the world. There's so much uncertainty. There's so much unrest. There's like politically, economically, both at home in Aotearoa and globally. So the reason it's important for it to be birthed into the world now after, being conceived almost 7 years ago is that delivering a project to remind you of your divinity, delivering a project to remind us of the beautiful things when there's so much focus and zoom in on all the chaos and stuff. Having art that helps us transmute through energies or through concepts or perspectives that are happening that we need to move through to find solutions is the reason that Greenstone Door is about to be born. Sonics and Soundscapes production is all my homie Troy Samuela. We studied together and I've known him since he was 16. He's my family. And the thing with working with Troy, so if you've ever worked with anyone who you have like a creative synergy with, you're going to make stuff that you wouldn't usually make on your own. So he would make a loop and then I'd grab the loop, I'd put it in my earbuds, go into the other room, I'd start writing. I'd come back into the room he was recording in and we'll chuck some vocals down and then he'll give me another loop. And we rinsed and repeated that for 10 days until we had the album. So he is the wizard of the soundscape. I swear, we have done nothing. So we made it, we created it, we passed it on to our amazing teams out here with How at Forever Records and Sony Australia, who are going to be the doctors of delivery. But we did not touch it at all since its conception. I had a conversation yesterday and explained that. Have you guys gotten on Facebook those Facebook memory posts? Yeah. So imagine those 7 years worth coming at you. And sometimes you might be like, I still feel like that. I still resonate. That's still a gem. And sometimes you might be shaking your head like, no, bruh, what was I on? And that's kind of how I feel. But even with the things that I've outgrown and concepts and lyrics and things where I feel like, what was I on? It's just my insecurities, so I'm going to deliver it anyway. A very small snippet from the album. It might not be the most lyrical or it might not be the fanciest or most technical, but there's a line that I say in The Calling, which is, tell my nan her fighting spirit is safe with me. And she's since passed. She was alive during the conception, so that's close to my heart, yeah. Three of my favorite songs. I don't know how you feel about music, but three that really resonate with me and evoke the same energy now as they did before would definitely be Queendom, No Hype, and Hold Your Head. When you listen to The Calling, you can straight away hear Māori and Pasifika instrumentation, and setting the soundscape with my indigenous taonga puoro was important for you to feel who I am before I even start speaking. So ingest it and see how you feel about it. Honestly, like, I've only just started enjoying live shows. I'd speak to my friends who are musicians who would talk about this, like, divine, like, alignment of, like, the source and coming on stage and just the presence and the synergy between the crowd. And, like, I would jump on stage and I'm like, where that? Like, you know, in the past. And I've done quite a few shows towards the end of last year in Welly, where I'm from, and I started to feel it. And so I started to understand that when there were music pieces that I really resonated with and really believed, that's when I started to feel like that source. So with Greenstone Door being my first album and still resonating true to me, come through and let's connect and share energy. I want to say Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah. I'd love to collaborate with Sample the Great. One of my favorites. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It would be the film of the revolution of life. I'm trying not to think. I'm trying to show up and be present. Oh, my grandma used to sing Samoan nursery rhymes to me, so that was us. She couldn't speak English. The Distant Relatives tour with Nas and Damian Marley. I think it might have been The Score by the Fugees. Yo, A Stage of the Water, that was safe. The most memorable, I recently performed in Welly at Great Sounds Great, which is like a little, they had like 5 or 6 venues in Wellington in the city, all playing shows and different acts at one time. And the vibe was crazy. People could just walk between all the clubs. So Welly, Great Sounds Great. At the moment, I would just say Kendrick. Girl, do your breathing. My homie Otara and I are reading the same book, The Body Keeps the Score, so I'm enjoying it. Toronto 2014 by Daniel Caesar. Music means energy exchange. I don't know if that's what I want to be. I want to change the world.